Hi everybody, it's Kate Luella here. Today I've got an interview with Steve Scott. His website is stevescottsite.com. He's actually what you'll call an authority blogger. That's his term, not mine, but I quite like it. And he's written, well, actually, he's had a wonderful career, and he's going to talk about that in the interview. But also he talks about his Kindle books, which is how I came across him, and I really enjoyed his work. And if you look through some of the titles, things like how to find a profitable blog topic idea, 61 ways to sell more non-fiction Kindle books, and things like that, how to write great blog posts that engage readers. So he's built quite a big community from those books. He talks about that in the interview. We also briefly mention his Facebook page, but just in case we don't talk about it enough, because I probably didn't, check out his website, stevescottsite.com, and look for the Facebook group to join. Join up, you'll see me in there as well. It's got a really big community, which is fantastic. And of course, Facebook groups are free, which is good. So without further ado, I'm going to put you on to the interview, and I hope you enjoy it. So thank you so much for talking to me today, Steve. Actually, I first saw you on Amazon, but you've been around for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, about 10 years I've been actually online marketing, but I guess I started my blog back in January 2010.
Right. Okay. So 2005. So we're talking like 7 years online to make money.
Actually, no, it was 10 years ago, so 2003, and then I actually really started doing well, I guess 2005 or so.
Wow. And so have you always earned income from back in 2003 or 4?
A little bit for those 2 years, and in 2005 I went full time. So yeah, I guess it's been about 7 years now.
Wow. Okay. So now, is that your strategy to really embrace ebooks? Because look, I have to ask this because that's kind of the only way I've seen you out there. So that doesn't mean that is the only way that you are out there, but that's certainly how I came across you. So is that your main goalpost with your marketing, or is that just part of the pie?
That was really how I make my money now, at least with the Steve Scott stuff. That was honestly completely, I don't want to say luck, but it was just, I just kind of stumbled upon it. I wrote the first couple of Kindle books just to drive traffic back to my blog. When they actually started making money, I was just probably more shocked than anyone else. And I decided to go with it and just for 6 months, just really invest pretty much all my time into writing these Kindle books.
Okay, okay. So, just on that point, then, when you say it went really well, when did you first start doing the Kindle books?
I released my first one, I think I was February of last year, but I released it and pretty much forgot about it till
Okay.
June of last year, and I wrote my second one, forgot about
Mm.
that, and then pretty much I was going on vacation for our Fourth of July holiday, and I just decided to do one of those free promotions, just kind of as an afterthought. And I came back,
Mm.
and I saw it actually after the sale ended. I saw it actually started making 7 to 10 sales a day. It's like, whoa, this is actually something here. So I
Wow. Yeah.
kind of went with
Look,
it.
yeah, look, I'm going to ask you a bit more about that. But first of all, I still want to talk about you a little bit more, if that's okay.
Sure.
Now, it's funny because I think on your blog you do say that you're an internet marketer, but I notice you talk a lot about affiliate marketing.
hmm
Do you consider yourself more of an affiliate marketer or an internet marketer?
I have no idea what to call myself now. Um,
Uh, Jack of all trades.
I honestly, that's how I really, I guess, made my bones initially was with affiliate marketing. I did that kind of behind the scenes, just building a list for many years. And I guess for a long time, you could really get away with just having an email list, writing easy articles and simple YouTube videos and driving traffic. You didn't, up until really 2010, I really felt the need to even have a blog or any sort of real online presence. So
Right.
yeah, I kind of did affiliate marketing, and but the last year or two, I've really felt that you need to do more than just focus on affiliate marketing or even ebook stuff. So I guess right now I call myself more an authority marketer. So I'm going to try to build a large brand around one topic and monetize it through a bunch of different ways.
Right. Is your topic internet marketing, or is there another one?
Yeah, I guess internet marketing would be the simplest terms. It just that
Yeah.
actual those actual words. It kind of reminds people of just the sleazy people or just all their
You
influence.
know, it's funny you say that because I think when I came into this world probably a year or two ago, I used to think it was a bit dodgy too. But now that I'm in it, I'm like the complete opposite. I think it's hard work, and I think it's actually, sprinkled with a lot of people who will call you out in a split second. So I actually think quite the opposite now, but it's funny that you still have that connotation. I suppose you're just being mindful of people listening to this who perhaps have that connotation.
Well, I think specifically when it comes to like Kindle books, the Amazon readers are very like suspicious in general of anyone who writes about making money online. So I have to be very mindful of
Right,
kind of being in their shoes and what they're thinking of. So I always try to frame it from their viewpoint. And
right.
I prefer the nicer internet entrepreneur. Just sounds a little bit. Uh,
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of the word going around now, online entrepreneur. I'm an online entrepreneur, which says absolute nothing.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, so does internet marketer because, I mean, we don't study this at school, do we? So we don't really know what that means unless we've been online and marketed. So it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you and
definitely.
I could talk with no problems, but I guess what you're saying is that people listening to this might think, what are they talking about? I totally understand. So, okay, look, that's fair enough. So you would probably then call yourself more likely an online entrepreneur now, or an author even, because you're doing so much writing.
I guess I decided a long time ago not to really
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
figure what the heck to call myself.
I understand. I understand. All right, just ignore the question. Okay. So, look, now with your blog, you did mention that you started this about, did you say about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago? Or?
Yeah, January 2010. So yeah, 2.5 years
Oh,
ago, or
yeah, 2.5 years. Okay.
oh, sorry,
Um,
3.5. Jeez, time catches. Yeah,
around
three
three
and a half.
years.
Yeah,
Oh, that's all right. And look, do you enjoy doing the blogging side?
I really go back and forth. I used to love it, but I
Right.
also spent many years pretty much writing for free. It was
Yeah.
kind of the reverse of the 80/20, where I'd spend like more than like 10% of my time would pretty much create 95% of my income, and I spend all this time in a blog and wasn't making money with it up until the Kindle stuff. So I liked
Right.
it, but I also felt that after writing 3,000 word posts and all this detailed content and seeing like, five
Right.
people leave a response and all that stuff, I mean, it was frustrating to say the least.
Yeah.
I kind of like during that when I was writing the Kindle stuff, I took 6 months off, and now I'm kind of back writing again. Actually, I really enjoy it now because there's an actual purpose behind what I'm writing, and I there is a whole grand scheme behind each post. So
Yeah.
I like it knowing that it is adding to some massive project instead of just trying to write the 7 people you should be paying attention to on Twitter, stuff like that. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what you're saying is now that you have a strategy, it makes sense and it's part of a plan, and that way you enjoy it because you see it progress.
exactly, and I feel
Yeah.
that each post is helping readers understand a larger concept.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I agree. It's fantastic. What about, well, the reason I ask is because a lot of people online do start a blog and then they just drop off. They just can't. It's actually hard work, isn't it?
I would say
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
blogging is the hardest thing to do
yeah,
successfully out of all businesses I've
yeah.
seen online.
Yeah, and you know what? Some people, some bloggers make it look so easy. They just keep writing every day, and they've got this huge following, and they're talking about, oh look, I took my dog for a walk. Isn't he cute? And 60 people go, yeah, isn't he cute? You think what's going on? But that's their community. I mean, each to their own, and I get that, but yeah, a lot of people just don't have what it takes. But I mean, that's fantastic that you do. Do you see this blog with you in your strategy for another 5 years or another year, or you won't put a time limit on it? Because I understand if you won't. So,
I'm gonna give the vague, cagey answer. At this point, I'm
sure.
really not too sure. I like
Yeah,
the fact that I'm engaging with people and talking about building an internet business, but I'm not too
yeah,
sure when I'm well into my 40s and 50s that I really want to still be talking about running an internet business. Kind of like some of the other projects I'm starting, I'm kind of more excited about. But I like what I'm
yeah.
doing now. I'm not too sure if it's going to be what I'm
Where it's going to
ultimately meant
go.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I understand. I understand. Take from someone like me who's well into her 40s. You'd be surprised how time flies and you're in your 40s and you're still blogging. But that's all right. We won't change the subject. I've got the flu, by the way, so I'm sounding a bit, snotty. But anyway, um, now, so I'm not going to ask you if you think about starting another blog or anything because it's, as you say, you're not sure where that's going to go. So I understand that. I do want to talk a little bit more about your ebooks, but just before I do, do you ever watch your Google Analytics? I guess you do, just to see where people are coming into your blog or Yeah, you because that is your website, your blog, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much my major kind of presence online for the Steve Scott stuff. I used to be
Mm.
obsessed with Kindle Analytics, and I would check it obviously like 3 4 times a day, like hit the refresh button and change the date,
Right.
do all that stuff to see how many people grow. And it is very good when you're starting out. I just learned also that it's not very 80/20. That if you're constantly looking at your analytics, you're not really spending time writing content and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
so no, I definitely still look at it once a week or so, and I want to see where my traffic's coming in. But I would say for starting a brand new site, you definitely want to focus on that. You definitely want to look at your analytics, and you want to kind of see where your traffic's coming from, find the best sources of it, and then focus on that. It just
Yeah.
like specifically for the authority site I'm starting, I'm constantly looking at that. But for Steve Scott, I'm pretty happy with where things are. I don't have a huge amount of traffic, but I would say it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very active traffic. It's people that come to my site and actually join my email newsletter and take like leave comments and actually join that Facebook group I just started, stuff like that, where they're engaged and they're
Yeah.
doing stuff.
So, but with your business, I mean, you mentioned there your Facebook group, which I did want to briefly tell, but you've brought it up now. Facebook group and your email list. But is there anything else they can buy from your site, or is that it?
Um, well,
I mean, you can't buy that, but you know what I mean. Is there any other thing that you do, as in a conversion in your site?
I'm going to talk about a product that I'm probably going to take off the market in a couple of weeks. I have a product called Affiliate Marketing Without the BS. It's basically a 8 part
Okay.
course where I talk about affiliate marketing stuff that honestly really worked for me early on. It really was very helpful. And I like the product, but now kind of what I'm moving into, I don't think it should be the only strategy that people should follow. So
Right.
I've kind of gutted a lot of the content and put it in Kindle form, and it just gotten to a point where I don't think it's quite as relevant as it should be. So probably I would say next month I'm just gonna just take it off the market just as because I honestly believe if you're not 100% like behind something, you shouldn't be selling it. So
No, no, exactly. Well, it's probably not part of your strategy anymore, as you put it, your business plan.
yeah,
And
it's not.
so, this authority blogging, is that now your new embraced project?
I think so. It's kind of a reaction to
Right.
what, like what you see a lot nowadays is niche sites. And honestly, a lot of people talk about niche sites. They're amazing resources. They do a great things. I just, from a personal standpoint, I don't really believe that focus on niche sites is a smart long-term strategy simply for the fact that it just pretty much 100% depends on Google, which is like a nightmare as far as the way they run their businesses and how they treat a lot of like they shut down AdSense accounts, they shut down AdWords accounts, they like not blacklist you, but they throw penguin updates and panda updates. They're not really good at really helping people build a business. It's not their business model really explain what they do. They just do what they do. And
Right.
I don't think you should build a business off of someone else's choice.
Yeah, it's a bit risky now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I understand why Google do that. I do
Yeah.
understand it, but I agree with what you're saying now. It's just not a strategy that works very well anymore.
Yeah, like I love the idea of niche sites but
Mm.
I think that they're great for someone starting out, and if you really would just want to make a little bit of income, it's a good move. But I think long term, you should try to focus on one site and make it great. And
Yeah, you know what? But that's really smart, and that's what a lot of the top, gurus now are saying, that sort of do one thing really well and spread your marketing across all the social media, all the affiliates, just get it out there. And James Franco, he calls it own the race course. Have a bit of everything everywhere. So if YouTube shut you down, you've still got a huge Facebook group, or if Facebook cancel you, you've got a huge Twitter going. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So look, that's spot on, Steve. You're obviously cutting edge strategizing here. That's fantastic. Um, just one more thing on Google Analytics. When you say they should watch, do you look at webmaster tools, or do you just look at where they're coming from and which landing page they're going to? You have no idea. You probably haven't listened to any of my interviews, but if you have, I ask so many bloggers this about where they watch their stats, and they just sort of go, oh, not really, because bloggers aren't quite looking at it like a business person. So just to help them with that, I look at where they're coming from, like, so I think they
Hmm.
call that source.
Yeah,
That's right, the
traffic
sources, and
source. Yeah.
then yeah, what page they're hitting. Is that what you look at?
Uh, Almost exactly. Like I definitely look at the keywords that people use, what pages they're arriving to, a lot of times where they're going. I kind of also what I throw in there in addition to Google Analytics, it's if you have a WordPress blog, use my pretty link and I look at all the different like stats
Okay.
on what people are clicking. That's really
Sure.
important to me. It's like, are they going to the offers that I want them to go to, and how long are they
Sure.
staying there?
Pretty Link, is that paid? Because that's cloaking, isn't it?
It's a free. It's basically a
It's
free.
free.
It's
Okay.
free, and then I think there's a paid. I've never bought the paid version, but it
Mm.
basically it tracks the links, and it also just like it. Obviously, it makes a pretty link, so it's instead of having some long, massive affiliate link with like question marks and numbers, it's a very
Yeah.
simple, shortened link that you can designate, which I love best
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Like bit.ly.com and all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whatever. You get it. Okay. So, look, very briefly with your ebooks, Kindle. So, I'm really excited to talk to you about this. Now, you had said that since, just roughly, you said since June or before you did one last year. So, how, because when I searched your author name on Amazon, which by the way, good for you doing it, because most authors don't. But anyway, um, I think about 12 books came up. But is that what you're saying? That you've only done 12, or you've done 12 under your name and then you've got pen name books? Is
Yeah,
that right?
I got
Right.
14 under the Steve Scott. I got 14 under the children's book project, and that was kind of experimentation. If I could just go into a different market where I knew nothing, write a bunch of books, and see how that did. And that didn't pan out the way I thought it would. I'm still make some money, but it's just really not. It's not worth my time. And I've one
Mhm.
kind of failed fitness book, so I guess I have
Right.
29 now, and I'm starting a whole kind of new authority site in the habits market where I'm going to try actually doing the same thing I talk about, just build a whole new brand. But that's forthcoming. It's stuff I haven't really done yet.
What about syndicating the books that you've already got? What about just throwing that into Smashwords and getting that on iBookstore and Barnes and Noble and all that with one fell swoop with a 10% fee? How does that attract? Are you tempted to do that, or have you done that, or?
I'm very tempted. The problem is I've talked to and I've listened to a lot of interviews with people that are just really on the next level on Kindle, and they
Uh
just
huh.
say that they get most of their sales from Amazon and like even the borrows that I guess let me explain the KDP program. That's a special type of program Amazon offers where every 90 days you can give away your book for free, which
Yeah.
drives up sales, and also people can borrow your book where
Mm.
but actually the commission rate on the borrow is just as much as a paid sale. So I guess my
Yeah.
point is putting it on Smashwords and putting all that, if I take it out of KDP, I would probably lose sales in the long term. But that being said, I think definitely in the next month or two, I want to take at least three of my best ones and put them up on Smashwords, Barnes and Noble, all that, and try to expand
Yeah.
my reach. It's just monetarily, it seems almost like Amazon's the way to go.
Yeah. Look, I think what you're saying is right, but I would still put a couple, across the
Yeah.
board, and that there's those couple you can't put on KDP. But it would be nice to tap into the iTunes market. And I don't know that Barnes and Nobles is that big, but definitely Bookstore, big. I thought that would have been, and I think it's relative too. The less likely it is to make money, like as you said, your the people you look up to, whatever, who've been doing it better and bigger, whatever, they're not doing it either. So your competition's a lot less. So I guess there's all that
No,
to think back.
it's one of those things where I know you're definitely absolutely right. It's just I haven't done it.
Mm, yeah,
I'm definitely going to pursue in the future. Just
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
it's almost like I look at each individual block of time as like you have a choice with it. So I could
Mm,
spend maybe 5 to 10 hours trying to figure out how to do all this stuff, or possibly outsourcing or whatever, or I could spend that or 10 hours writing that next book. And that just for me, it just seems like writing books has just been the best strategy that
mm.
I've applied to Kindle publishing.
So, look, I don't have one of your books in front of me, but can I assume, I obviously know this would be the case, in your book, in your ebook, Kindle, it would have a link to your blog. Is that like a pretty link so you can gauge how many people are clicking through that?
Actually, kind of one of the techniques that I do, the first link I provide up at under kind of the masthead under my name in the introduction of the book is actually a redirect back to my Amazon Kindle page. My thought being
Right.
is that if, and I actually do track that, my thought being if someone buys a book, they see a link, they can go click on that and see more books that I've written, hopefully buy another book or a third book or fourth book. With that said, inside the actual introduction, I briefly kind of describe my qualifications of why I can write that specific piece of content, and I do usually link back to my blog and kind of just give a quick overview of how how it's relevant to what they're learning.
See, that's funny. I wouldn't do that. It's funny you say that though. I want you to split test this. Do a really good reason for them to click through to your blog and try and get an email address because
Oh,
you control that then.
I'm sorry. I totally forgot. I do actually.
Okay, good.
I'm
What?
sorry. I do actually offer a free gift, which is my
Yeah,
111 affiliate marketing strategy. I'm sorry, I do,
great.
and I actually
Okay.
do get 30 to 40 subscribers a day from that. I apologize.
See, oh my gosh, that is amazing.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, funny you didn't mention that until I called you out. But
Yes.
I'm so glad I called you out because that's the type of thing I've been teaching people a while now, is just to make sure you've got a good offer. I call it irresistible. Like they see it and they go, I really have to get that. Otherwise, some people are lazy, and they go, oh, I can live without that. Especially if it's your target demographic, because obviously online, all those giveaways are done to death. So it's got to be really great. I appreciate you sharing the stats too, because that way it sort of indicates to people that formula does work.
Oh, absolutely.
You
It's funny that I forgot about that because actually email marketing is something I'm just droning
Mm,
on and on and on about. That's like
yeah.
probably the single most
Mm,
reason that I've ever had success online is because of email marketing. So just completely
yeah.
slipped my mind. I do that.
Yeah, look, honestly, and I do hear about people online referring people to their books, and I go, oh, I'm not keen of that because you can't control that. Amazon doesn't give you the email address. You've got no control over that customer until they join your site. Then you can offer them books free, but how are you going to look after them if you don't even know who they are? So,
Exactly.
yeah, so no, I'm so glad we touched on that. Just moving on a bit from ebooks, is there any other products? I mean, you did mention before you had a product that you're closing down soon, so we don't have to talk about that one. And I know you've got the Authority blogging. Is that actually a product, the Authority blogging course or something?
No, it's more like a case study. Bringing back to the
Right.
example from the niche site stuff. A lot of these people, like obviously Pat Flynn, Spencer Hawes, pretty famous people that build niche sites. Like I think they do a great job of actually showing step by step how they take a brand new website and make money with it. And I think there's something amazing with what they do there. And I really haven't seen anyone take a brand new authority site from the beginning and actually show what it's like to build it from scratch. And that's
Ah,
kind of what I'm doing is I'm just showing literally step by step. Here's what I do. Here's how I found the domain name. Here's why I picked it. It obviously won't be the same as a niche site because I think there's just different things you should be doing. But it's basically the same concept. It's just you show what it's like to actually build a business, and you don't talk in circles. You actually show specific numbers and examples, and here's what worked for me. So it's definitely it's a free course. It's not like it's not like a free course where I have any sort of design to turn it into a product. Just right now, I'm just kind of
right.
happy, kind of
Yeah,
demonstrating what I talk about in some of my books in an actual real world setting.
that's great. That's great. So you're just sharing that experience, which is fantastic. So do you do coaching or anything, or is that perhaps in the future?
Not really. It's again, I guess
No.
go back into the 80/20. I prefer to create assets and stuff that has long-term
Okay.
value instead of kind of trading
Yeah.
my time for money.
Yeah, it's funny. You're the first person to say that to me, and I agree with that. That's
Oh,
why I'm really anti coaching. I might do a little bit, maybe in a year or two. I'm not ready yet, but that's why, because I can't sell that to my kids to continue the legacy when I'm gone. I know that sounds stupid, but you know,
no, it's
if I
true.
build up an Amazon collection of books, which I've got two full-time outsourcers just writing books all the time, and one's in children's and one's in cooking. Or actually, it's going to be a lot of anyway. It doesn't matter. But the point is, that's why. So that in 5 years' time when I retire, then there'll be 10 grand coming in a week. And I've done, forever. Because
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
evergreen niches.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you put out there one time, like I wrote books that are a year old now and they're still making money, which is pretty amazing. And just,
Yeah.
but if I do one coaching session, that's, it might be $100 an hour, but that's just,
Yeah.
I have to do it every time. And it's just for me, it's my personal preference, just never really attracted me.
So with your email list then, what do you email to your list? Do you send offers or what do you do? Do you just say hi, how you going?
Um, Early on, way back in the day, I used to be the pretty aggressive marketer, I guess, because I didn't really know any
Right.
better. Just very much the
Yeah.
go buy this product. Here's why it's great. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
With the Steve Scott site, I did start out a little bit where I was promoting the aforementioned product, but now I've kind
Sure.
of more broadcast messages, more here's what's going on. It's usually just this is a new article, here's a free Kindle book, stuff like it's very topical, very new. I almost do. I would say right now I do pretty much no selling on my email list. I just try to
Wow.
direct traffic to specific places and try to add value and just more see the more the people really that get email marketing, seeing some more and more are these are they're smart about how they talk to their list. They don't sit and try to hit them over the head with offers. They're more just worry about engaging them and actually building friendships. And I know it sounds
Yes.
kind of airy fairy, but it actually really is
No,
true.
no, not at all. No, it sounds fantastic. And it does sound real because that's kind of how you almost have to do it now to be successful. Because the other way, where you bombard people and there's still a lot of people who do that, they'll bombard you with 2 emails a day.
Yes.
Oh, check out this, you can't miss this or your business is going to fail. And, it's just, you know what? It's not even a good swipe. So why would I even, unsubscribe? You just don't want to know about it. But when you get someone actually writes to you and they've got something interesting to say, you kind of value it a bit. Actually, it's not that common. So it's really smart that you do that.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of borrowing off of other people that are pretty successful, so it's not like an
Yeah.
original idea, but I definitely I try to learn from the best.
Do you have any mentors that you could mention? You don't have to have paid the money or anything, but just people that you do learn from that you can think of, or you don't.
Um, Not really mentors that people that really know me, but it's more the people that are really out there sharing great content on their blog and doing really great things. Obviously, I mentioned Pat Flynn, Spencer Hawes, Chris Guthrie, the people that are really pretty much genuine and they just talk about what they're actually doing with their business instead of trying to sell you something. I was always a fan of John Reese, who a lot of times I bought his product. And I've always
Right.
like every time I buy something from him, I'm really happy with how it's helped my business. But no one that I really talk to on a daily basis that tells me what to do. And I guess that's one of the failings of my business is I don't really reach out to people that are at the next level and have them coach me. But
Yeah. That's fantastic. Look, I've been so happy talking to you, Steve. You're just so interesting. And I'm grateful that you spent half an hour I was going to say 11:30 at night, but it's only, what is it, 9:30 in the morning?
yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning in Jersey.
That's nice for you. No, that's all right. But look, is there anything else you wanted to mention before I wrap it up? Because I don't want to hold you up too long, but
Not off the top of my head. I don't know. I guess the overall, like, what I'm kind of really into now is just the idea that you should be building just one singular site or business, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a blog, but instead of trying to do 100 different things, try to focus on one thing and really make it great. And honestly, every time I do that, it's always well paid off. And the reverse is true also. When I try to do a bunch of things, nothing ever pans out. So if you actually
yeah.
just focus every week on doing one great project, then that's probably
Mm.
the best. You'll get the best results by doing that.
Yeah, I learned a saying the other day at an event. It was called one monkey, one banana. I don't know if it's relevant to this example, but it was along the lines of it's actually to do with products. You design a product for one person. Anyway, but it's kind of in that theory that just don't go too far. Just stick with one thing and get it right and nurture that. And which is really what you're doing now. You're changing that shift. I can see. So no, that's fantastic. So, any tips for anyone starting up a blog, or
Um, I,
really just what you just said?
I would say that would definitely be the first one. The second one is you want to pick like you want to tightly focus on a niche, but you want to go one or two levels deep. So, for instance, let's say you're into physical fitness, you wouldn't want to start just a general physical fitness blog. You want to go
I know what you
into
mean.
yeah, slurring over my words.
Yeah.
You want to really kind of narrow down and find a specific audience. Like the example I've used in a couple of my books is, for instance, one of these days I'll be into like physical fitness for men in their 40s, stuff like that, where you really find a specific type of audience and you speak to that audience. You can still promote a variety of projects, but a variety of products. But every time you talk about a product, you talk about from the framework of that specific audience. So if you talk about six-pack ab products, like here's why, as a 40-year-old guy, you should be interested in this particular six-pack product. Stuff like that.
Right.
Like you really want to like find a really narrow audience, and that's really how you can compete nowadays. And you can't really be
Right.
a site that's full of generalized content. You have to find that one kind of hook and make it your own.
That's gold advice though, even just for people to make a living online, because it's all about niching down to, as you say, one audience rather than just saying, I have a membership site for people who want to make money online. It's just too
Exactly.
broad. You know, like I want to run a site for women who do crafting from home as a second business or whatever. That's niching it down, isn't it?
Exactly. And people were like, well, I'm going to lose out on all these other people. I'm like, you might, but the people that do follow you will feel like they're getting the best content. They're getting
Mm.
something that speaks directly to them, and they'll be more loyal and engaged in the long term.
Mm. Yeah, look, that's fantastic advice, and
I think.
I should listen to it myself a bit, I think. Anyway, it's a big thing because we actually put my all Weber email addresses into Facebook audiences today,
Hmm.
and it spits out the stats of who my subscribers are. Like, are they male? How old are they? Country?
Oh,
What's
wow.
their interests? Yeah, did you know that? Oh, yeah, it's through the Chrome plugin, Power Editor.
Ooh, wow.
So you
I'm
get the
writing that down.
plugin. It's all free, and it's all free, right? Facebook, just Google Facebook Audiences, and that's a free plugin for the Power Editor, which is through the Chrome. You've got to have Chrome browser, but that's no big deal. Just get that
Yeah,
free.
I have that.
And yeah, you put your email addresses in, and it spits out any information you want. And in fact, it goes one step further, which we're running tomorrow. It will then make a suggestion because it's to do with Facebook advertising. It then makes a suggestion of who I should now put my Facebook ads on that are of similar stats to the
Oh,
people who have
wow.
already on my list. Yeah. So, I mean, if someone doesn't have a Facebook page that's got on my email list, then obviously I don't get their stats. It's only of people that actually do have Facebook pages. But most of yours and my clients be very similar, and they do. They have Facebook pages, so without a doubt. So, or profiles, I should say, not page. But it might be both. I don't know. I just said to my SEO guy, work it out. All right, make it work because I want to know who my customer is because I have no idea except for the few that write to me and say, how do you unzip this? Anyway, the point is that, it's a powerful tool. Yeah, because knowing who your audience is kind of a milestone. So,
Yeah, exactly.
anyway, yeah, yeah. So look, I really appreciate you talking to me, Steve. I've had a great time. I've learned a lot. And thank you so much again, Steve. And I hope to one day meet you. If you come to Australia, or if I come, whereabouts are you? Where are you
Um,
based?
I'm in New Jersey. I was gonna come to Australia with my girlfriend and I, but we only had 4 weeks, and I just
Oh,
I really wanted to do like a whole summer. Well, I guess it'd be winter for you guys, a whole summer
yeah,
there. But because it was just, we got to the point where we kept on eliminating this place and that place. I'm like, listen, we're at the point where it's like we're not doing half the stuff we want to do once. We'll just so hopefully next summer we'll go to Australia, just not this one.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Hopefully.
I've always wanted to visit your country. It looks amazing. So it's just
Yeah.
a pain in the butt to get there.
So whereabouts are you though?
In New Jersey, it's
Oh.
I'm about an hour outside of New York City.
Oh, okay, so you're near New York.
Yeah, like right on the New York border, but the city itself, I would say it's an hour southeast of here. I just moved in with my girlfriend, so I'm trying to figure out how it relates to where I'm actually living right now.
Okay. Well, you better get used to that because, once you're a kept man, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, pretty much might as well lock me up and
Life's
throw away the key.
That's right. All the rebranding in the world won't change anything now. That's right. All right. Well, look, I'll let you go, Steve. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you again another time.
All right, well, have a good night.
You too. Thanks for that. Bye.
Bye.